Welcome aboard, whoever you are and wherever you've come from. Starfleet has seen fit to entrust you with an awesome responsibility. There's no telling what challenges you may encounter on your assignment except for this. There will be no. This will not be boring. You will not emerge unchanged, and your logs will tell the story of what all it means. Your logs may chronicle your first post as a commanding officer of a starship or recount a final voyage in which your accumulated experience was put to the test. I guess that's why this is called Captain's Log. Captain's Log, yeah. Because it was brought up yesterday that this is more of a journaling kind of solo play. Because I was expecting, when I sat down to read this book, I thought that this was actually an adventure in this book. And that's why actually I had left it on the shelf for a little while, because I was like, okay, I want to go through this morning grind and play it. But if it's an adventure to be played, I wanted to actually make sure that I was in the right mood for it, and actually felt that I was worthy of sitting down and having the fun time of playing this game, like by having done the work in the morning, like today. But it turns out this is not a game. I mean, this is a game in of itself, but it's not an adventure that you're running. Okay, there are two ways to create a character in Captain's Log. 1. Life path. Choose this option if you wish to start your story with a concrete knowledge of your character's backstory, beliefs, and capabilities. The life path will help you choose or randomly select these elements. This detailed method can be time intensive, taking anywhere from 45 to 90 minutes to complete per character. Okay, that's a lot. We often talk about here, or I often talk about how I like character creation to be short, like 15 minutes. I'm often like, I think we should be able to create a character inside 15 minutes. And so generally, I don't like anymore today long and involved character creation times. I mean, there was a time when I would spend a lot of time working on GURPS characters, but that's not today. So when it was talking about life path earlier on, that was one thing that goes. Like, I did think, man, that could take a lot of time. We're going to start from the very beginning and work the character all the way through to Starfleet commission. And so, yes, it does admit that. This is a very time-intensive way to make a character. Creation in play, however, is the other option. Choose this option if you wish to start telling your story with a basic character concept and uncover their full capabilities during play. You will choose a few initial elements and use a framework to fill in the blank as you need them. This process is covered in detail starting on page 133 and takes anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes to complete, depending on how many details you're willing to let unfold during gameplay. Okay, so we do have a short character creation that could take place in 15 minutes if we're going to be light on detail with our characters. Sable says, I like life path systems. Well, and Lynn says that too. I like life path creation, and a well-designed system shouldn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah. So what's a good life path creation system that you can do in 10 or 15 minutes? Surely you could. I mean, surely that's something that you could be able to do. Sable says 5e takes 30 to 45 minutes isn't that long compared to something like D&D. 5e takes a good hour at minimum to make a character from the book. Each method results in a character equally empowered to undertake tasks and evolve through their story arc. You only need to use this chapter once for each new character you generate. If you're playing in a cooperative or guided session, character creation might take a few hours, as several people are generating player characters together during session 0. See chapter 5, starting on page 219 for more details about running a cooperative or guided game experience. All right, so that's a long time. So this is advocating for a several hour, or telling you might be looking at for multiple people, several hour long session 0. So it says, to build a character, you need a character sheet. See the sample on page 318, or a way of taking notes. It's good to use a pencil or some other means of writing that can be erased or revised, since elements are subject to change during the creation process and even after you begin play. Let's wait. So we used to, when we're looking at RPGs. Oh, interesting. 318. Wait, what was that? So this is extra stuff. Star Trek Online, boldly go. Play free at StarTrekOnline.com. Interesting. But this also says Star Trek Adventures, a full range of books and accessories. I think some people maybe have been talking about that yesterday. Available from Modiphius.net and Modiphius.us. Starfleet Edition Core Book, the Klingon Empire Core Rule Book, Starter Box Set. Oh, this has a box set? We like box sets around here. I think the different divisions. That was what was brought up yesterday. the Command Division supplement, the Operations Division supplement, the Science Division supplement. Okay, so there is a lot of material out there for this game. Anyway, let's take a look at what the character sheet looks like. Here we go. Captain's Log character sheet. Oh, and it's okay. It is a page size that I like. Wow. So I'm a big fan of the half-page character sheets. Like how much information do we really need? There is this. That's what this is. There isn't a whole lot on here, and this is going to could take 90 minutes to fill out. Lynn says, point and skill-based systems like GURPS and Champions Hero could take several hours. They offer the ultimate in flexibility and customization at the cost of high time investment. Yes, high time investment, lots of flexibility and customization, often for players to want to create something rather archetypical anyway. Like often that happens is what I find. If you want to play a thief or a paladin or a knight or a fighter or a wizard, something like a character class does certainly make things easy and fast. Lynn says, I think life paths are especially good for newbies. Point build requires a pretty deep knowledge of the game to do effectively, and the slowness is off-putting. That's a good point. That's a good point. Hey, you know, class, background, those things. Hey, Zero the Blade. Especially if you don't have an infinite amount of choice at any of the different stages of the life path, right? You can add templates to point build systems to speed things up. Very effective with archetypes. That's like the templates and lenses in GURPS. Something like Champions is built to do all the math up front. I haven't played it, but you know people who have. But I know people who have, and they say Champions plays fast once they've done it with the infamous character creation. I don't know that one. But anyway, so we got like name, environment, early outlook, education. So we got attributes and we've got disciplines here. That's what this says. Attributes are control, daring, fitness, insight, presence, and reason. Disciplines include command, con, security, engineering, science, and medicine. Rank is on here. Focuses, values, equipment, or other details. But then down here is Captain's Log Starship sheet. And this has name, registry, traits, talents, and scale. And we've got two different things for our ship, systems and departments. Systems, comms, computers, engines, sensors, structure, weapons. And our departments are command, con, security, engineering, science, and medicine. So, okay, so here we've got an example character, so we can see what we're supposed to be putting in something like this. So this is Robert Delacour. His environment says homeworld Earth. Early outlook says Starfleet. He's a human. Education is Starfleet Academy, operations track. Rank captain. His assignment is captain of the USS Athena. Career length experienced. Career events, conflict with a hostile culture, Cardassians, and negotiated a treaty. Focuses include Cardassian tactics, Cardassian tactics, classical theater, diplomacy, oratory, Romulan politics, Starfleet protocol. His values are, I will never trust a Cardassian, Renaissance man, Starfleet to the core, words are more powerful than weapons, and equipment or other details include a Type 1 phaser, a tricorder, and a standard uniform. So over here with our attributes, the control, we've got numbers like 10 for control, 8 for daring, 8 for fitness, 10 for insight, 11 for presence. Reason is 9. And then we've got lower numbers over here on our disciplines. Command 4, con 3, security 3, engineering 2, science 2, medicine 2. Captain's Log Starship sheet. Okay, this is for the USS Athena here. Scale is a 6. Registry number NCC 73224. Traits Federation Starship Galaxy class. This is a Galaxy class Starship Commander here. Talents adaptable energy weapons, advanced research facilities, captain's yacht, diplomatic suites, high-resolution sensors, improved power systems. And then we've got systems. We've kind of got the same kind of numbers over here under systems and departments as we had under attributes and disciplines. Comms 9, computers 11, engines 10, sensors 10, structure 10, weapons 10. So that's a Galaxy class ship here. Departments include Command 3, Con 2, Security 2, Engineering 3, Science 3, Medicine 2. Okay. Preparing for duty. Throughout play, your character will be challenged in various ways. We have not really seen how are we playing. I guess we got a very brief how to play. So it did tell us, and I don't even know where to find that. But it did tell us if this is all you know, I think it was saying that we're going to be rolling a die, 2 dice, because I think this is the 2d20 system. Well, I can't even find that. But I do like often how, like, just figuring out how to play before going into character creation. We typically do that. Let's see. Let's see if there's rule. Let's go to rules of play for a moment. 179. Like, what did that mean on the sheet? How do we use that? Okay, so to play, we're going to need a notepad, like we were going to play with that sample character right there. I think I'm running into the Moriarty-Vic Fontaine paradox here when you're working on this. Yeah, that's what I was trying to find, Lynn. Exactly. What's the basic die roll mechanic and how do the characteristics and skills interact with it? So let's see. So let's go to that. So this says to play Captain's Log, you'll want the following items: a notepad, either a pen and paper or digital, this book, in particular the random table starting on page 254, a pair of 20-sided dice. In this chapter, we'll determine the rules required to create your own ship's log. You'll learn how to embark on missions through the stars, leading your crew to the great unknowns and possibility. If you survive, emerge as a leader worthy of Starfleet. In Chapter 6, you'll see how to put the rules to most effective use, using them to narrate your amazing adventures. Okay, this says, hey, this is different than Star Trek Adventures. That's right, players of Star Trek Adventures will note these rules slightly differ in what they are used to. Only 1 point of momentum or threat can be generated during a task roll in Captain's Log. In addition, complications work differently, as explained on page 193. The play mechanic for Captain's Log are different because they serve the gaming needs for solo RPGs, a growing genre. The mechanics in this book serve to spark the imagination and drive the narration of a story like you would see in a Star Trek show or movie. Star Trek Adventures game modules normally provide details up front about the various scenes game masters can run their players through, pre-built statistics, and a suggested conclusion. Captain's Log, on the other hand, encourages you to start with a few random rolls and let the story form as you go. You may be surprised how your imagination fills in the blanks and helps you create an epic story. Chapter 6 provides guidance on how to follow the rhythm of a Star Trek show so that you know when to begin, where to begin, ramp up the action, and reach a satisfying conclusion. Okay, how to get started playing the game. I like the games that get to, like, how do you actually play this? What are we doing? So this says, how to get started playing the game. Page 181. Everything you need to play through an amazing Star Trek story is right here in your hands. Follow the step-by-step process to construct your missions utilizing the probability matrices contained within this book. Step 1. Create your characters and ship. Chapter 4 contains instructions on how to build your character. Appendix 5 contains a blank character sheet. Use that sheet to begin taking notes about your character. You can expand these notes more as you play the game, so bring along extra paper or use an electronic notepad. Chapter 5 provides more guidance on building your ship or station. Example, this is Sylvan's first time playing Captain's Log. They decide to use the Creation and Play option presented on page 133 to make their captain. I wish there was more sample characters so that you could say, hey, listen, give me this character. This is already pre-generated. Let me get down, playing some Star Trek. Yes. Hey, rule book, just tell us how to fire a phaser already. Yeah, I know. let's see. Okay, so this is Sylvan's first time playing Captain's Log. They decide to use the Creation in Play option presented on page 133 to make their captain. They end up with Captain Jalel of the U.S. Pioneer, the first Romulan male to be appointed captain of a Starfleet vessel. Jalel has the command in engineering disciplines and is assigned the single value of suspicion is a great place to start. Step 2, select your mission type. The random mission types matrix on page 257 is where to begin. This tells you the category of mission which you have been assigned, a conspiracy, deep space exploration, or patrol. This is like receiving directives from Starfleet Command. Once you have a mission type, locate the category and roll on that matrix. It will provide the specific nature for your mission. So Sylvan grabs their dice and rolls up the mission type. They end up with Command, Research and Development, Engine Upgrades. Sylvan decides that Starfleet has ordered the Pioneer to observe the development of some sort of new engine. They will decide the details after a few more rolls. Step 3, generate an incident, theme, advantages, and complications. All missions have their problems, commonly referred to as an inciting incident in storytelling. First roll on the incident and theme matrices. Pair these verb-noun combinations to start imagining the story as the conflict will be. Then you roll on advantage or complication that attaches itself to an incident theme. For example, Sylvan rolls up their incident theme on Save Quarantine Zone. So rolls up their incident theme as Save Quarantine Zone. Therefore, determine that the development they therefore determine that the development of this engine might endanger some protected areas. Sylvan rolls a d20 to determine if there is an advantage or a complication attached to the incident theme. They roll a 4, which is an even number. This means Sylvan can roll an advantage. They roll a 2, surplus components. Sylvan imagines that their ship, USS Pioneer, has been equipped with emergency replacement parts should something go wrong during the development of this new engine. Good morning, Stray. Good morning. Good to see you. It's time to start fleshing out the story. This provides more details regarding the inciting incident that will launch you into the first big conflict of your adventure. However, you could also include details that might not be revealed until later. It's up to you to determine when to trigger certain story elements for maximum narrative effect. Roll on the type of encounter matrix on page 270 and roll again on the subsequent matrix. Oh my God. Okay, this keeps going. And we still don't know how to fire a phaser. We got a picture of like Q on the pool table here, turning it actually into a pool table with Geordi looking on. Okay, so that was that was roll an encounter. Then we generate people, places, and things. Then we write our opening captain's log, and then we start playing. How to get started playing the game. Step 3 is start playing. Excuse me, step 7 is start playing. Wait, hold on. Let's skip a little bit more. So this is getting started. Create your character and ship. 2, select mission type. 3, generate incident, theme, advantages, and complications. Roll your encounter. Generate people, places, and things. Write your opening captain's log, and then start playing. Each mission has 3 acts. Each act usually has 5 scenes. Each scene could be composed of 1 or more tasks. You complete tasks to move through the scene that will complete acts until you arrive at the end of your mission. Do we have an example of play? Let's look back at the table of contents here. Let's see. Probability matrices, allies and adversaries, locations and starships, additional matrices, and then forms. See, some of these things I don't really know what are. Like, what does your home among the stars mean? Your home among the stars. Creating your home, generating a random starship, ship traits and talents, creating a star base or station. No advice for writing the commercials? No, that would be funny. No advice for writing the commercials that fall between each act. No. Okay, wait a minute. We might have your main objective. What makes up a scene? We have a mission tracker here that's made of the starship badges. It says, throughout the course of your mission, you will be confronted with various hurdles to overcome. Anytime you need to attempt any action which you are required to roll dice, you are attempting a task. Sometimes these task rolls will occur during the result of the action you take, which logically cannot be performed easily or automatically. Other times you may need to simply feel a course of action you are attempting. You may simply feel a course of action that you are attempting would require a die roll to see whether or not you succeed. Remember, each captain is different and will handle the situation that occur as they occur to them in different ways. Some captains are eager to get their hands dirty and tackle issues head on, while others prefer to make use of the crew's expertise to get the best results. Well, here's an example of gameplay. Consider carefully when you approach each of the tasks that you intend to attempt. Okay, so here's an example of gameplay. Miranda is playing as Captain Singh, a fresh-faced young captain with a background in diplomatic relations. So when a Klingon ambassador has a little too much blood wine and starts trashing the ship's lounge bar, Singh's unsure how to best handle the situation. However, Miranda, as a player, knows the best way to handle the situation may be for Singh to assert dominance by knocking some sense into the Klingon. But this isn't the captain's over. And her score in fitness and security are somewhat lacking. So instead, she opts to use presence and command, hoping to put on a loud bluster to persuade the drunken ambassador to behave himself. So adding presence and command, Miranda's target number is 13, significantly better than the total of her security and fitness, which would have been a total of 8. With that target number set, Miranda rolls 2d20. She scores 14 and a 7. As the 7 is under the target number, this is a success. Captain Singh gets into the Klingon's face and bellows, convincing the ambassador to sit down and behave. See, and also like something that's like understanding a character sheet. What am I doing with this? So in this case, she added presence and command. Presence is over here on attributes and command is over here on disciplines. So she added those together to get her target number, sounds like. So if I were playing Captain Delacour here, presence and command would be 15. Here's resolving tasks. Okay, to determine if a course of action would be a task, ask yourself, is there a reasonable chance this task could fail or succeed? If the answer is yes, you can make a task roll. If you're not sure, consult the yes-no probability matrix on 254 to determine if a roll would be necessary or not. When you succeed at a task, an adventure continues regardless of success or failure. It's up to you to determine what steps are next. Is this a great place to end the scene, or do follow-up tasks and narrative need to happen before the scene ends? So resolving tasks. When you use a task to resolve a situation, you will need to roll dice. Well, it's on the same page here. So how did that go? Your main objective. What makes up a scene? What is a task? It is on the same page. Good morning, BGD. Good morning. So when you succeed at a task, the adventure continues regardless of success or failure. It's up to you to determine what the next steps are. Okay, I just said that. Resolving tasks. When you use a task to resolve a situation, you will need to roll dice. The results of your roll determine not only if you and your crew succeed, but how effectively they do. All tasks in Captain's log are resolved using 2d20. Before you attempt your roll, you should first decide which of your captain's attributes and disciplines you will be using. Sometimes the task will recommend which ones you should use. For example, see pages 79 to 83 for guidance on which attribute and disciplines to use for certain tasks. If you feel your captain is more likely to use different abilities that are more appropriate to the problem-solving style, pick the attribute and discipline that suits your character the best. Depending on the situation, some may be more relevant than others. For example, facing down a Gorn armada may not immediately require a medical approach, though taking care of any casualties afterwards may very well demand such a task. When you have decided which attributes and disciplines you wish to use, add both numbers together. This creates your target number. Try to roll equal to or under this target number with each d20 you roll. So we are trying to make sure, it sounds like, every task that we undertake in this game must be governed by a combination of both attribute and disciplines. So in some games, and we were looking at building Faded Edge, that we have attributes and then we also have like skills or something. And the trouble that I was running into, it means like, okay, so if you want everything that you can do to be governed by attributes, got that. You also need a very small number of whatever your secondary list is to see which one is governed, to make sure that everything is governed by all of these. Everything that happens needs to be able to fit into control, daring, fitness, insight, presence, and reason, as well as command, comms, con, security, engineering, science, or medicine. And then we're going to combine these things and come up with a target number. So we can do that because we got 2 short lists. Sable says, I'm most interested in how they run a solo game. It sounds very free form like we're going here. But at least now we have some kind of explanation regarding what is on this character sheet. Success. If your roll succeeds if you roll equal to or under the target number on 1 or more d20s. However, if both d20s roll under your target number, you not only succeed, but also gain momentum. Failure. If your roll fails over the target number, your roll fails if you roll over the target number on both d20s. Anytime you roll a 20, you also gain threat. Success at a cost. At times, failure on a roll will not simply make the action challenging or exciting. It could be disastrous, or a failure might result in derailing the game, breaking the adventure, or causing your captain to act out of character. Consider succeeding at a cost. This can also be done when success at a task is extremely important and you are willing to pay for it. Succeeding at a cost can let you succeed at a task for which your role has failed, but to do so, a cost must be paid. The exact nature of the cost is up to you, but it should be at least equal to the failure you have averted. Perhaps you can defuse the Romulan superweapon before it destroys the planet, only to be caught and imprisoned by their military. Maybe you prevent the warp core breach from destroying your ship, but are injured by the vented radiation. Ask yourself what an exciting option is for the story would be. And remember, you could always roll on random complication or threat table, pages 369 and 278 to help you decide. You could then roll on the probability matrices like the encounter matrix on page 270 to provide a new situation, complexity, and dangers to the game. So, for example of gameplay. Captain Singh has had a rough day. A barrage of enemy fire has resulted in a warhead being lodged into the vessel's lower decks. The captain leads a crew of engineers down there to start to defuse the warhead before it explodes. Unfortunately, the result is a failure. Normally, this would result in the warhead detonating, but because this would mean a disastrous end to the mission, Singh instead opts for success at a cost. In the nick of time, she seals the bulkhead behind the force field, saving the ship, but subjecting herself to a deadly dose of radiation. Will she survive? Okay, so that gives us some idea of the mechanics that we're dealing with here. But how do we employ them? So now I think it would be a good time to go back to this getting started with play. So what do we do over here? We had selected a mission type. Okay, we've gone through character creation. We've selected a mission type. 257 is where to begin. Mission type. Starfleet Command oversees many types of missions, but no doubt you are interested in learning more about the universe and beings that you share with it. You not only want to seek out new worlds and new civilizations, you seek knowledge and understanding. These are just some of the kinds of missions you will engage in during your ongoing quest to explore. So roll D20, aid and relief, conspiracy, deep space exploration, defense, diplomacy, escort and evasion, espionage, first contact, medical. Let me grab some dice. From right over here. Lynn says, it's not really classic Star Trek. Unless somebody has a one-night stand with an alien or takes a malevolent computer into blowing, or talks a malevolent computer into blowing itself up. Well, maybe that's what we'll roll. I wonder if one-night stand with an alien is on here. All right, so like, wait, 257. So if we were going on a mission here, I rolled a 10. 10 is near space exploration. Near space exploration. But am I supposed to, like, I'm supposed to make up something about that? So if I select my mission type, Sylvan grabs the dice and rolls up the mission type. They end up with command, research, and development. Wait, mission type? Oh, okay. So no, actually, so my mission type is near space exploration. Oh, so each one of these tape one, I go here, and then I got a whole bunch of other stuff over here. So then I got to drill further down. So near space exploration. Near space exploration. Cataloging gaseous anomalies, visiting UFP worlds, run-ins with friends and family. Shore leave and countless other adventures await you when you lead missions within the known Federation space. This might be your opportunity to explore the arts and sciences in a more familiar setting. The events could play out largely on Earth, Vulcan, or Kronos, for instance. Either of these options will likely immerse you in the unique politics, culture, and people of a particular planet. All right, so I roll on that. So I got a 7. So near space exploration number 7 is eliminate dangerous spatial phenomenon. So I'm doing near space exploration, trying to eliminate a dangerous spatial phenomena. And I got to do this again. No, so then this says your random mission type matrix on page 257 is where you begin. This tells you what category you've been assigned. This is like receiving directives from Starfleet Command. Once you have a mission type, locate the category and roll in that matrix. It will provide you a specific nature of the mission. So the command, research, development, she's got 3 things that she rolled on. Command, I don't know how they got command, research, and development. Research and development is on this. I'm not sure. Let's see. So, but I think I'm supposed to be so this says that once she got research and development engine upgrades, Sylvan decided that Starfleet has ordered the Pioneer to observe and develop some sort of new engine. This will decide the details after a few more rolls. So I think I'm supposed to just come up with something creative here that involves eliminating a dangerous spatial phenomenon, like some type of maybe I'm supposed to say then some black hole or black hole like thing. Like thing. Another pen. Is threatening to swallow Vulcan. I think I'm just supposed to come up with that. That's my understanding. Okay, number 3 was generate an incident theme, advantage and complications. So first roll on the incident and theme matrix on page 267. I'm interested in this idea of freeform RPGs, but I think in my case I was looking for something more concrete than this. So this is themes, advantages, and complications. One problem at a time, Captain Christopher Pike says. Wait, just to make sure I didn't miss something up here. Okay, I didn't. Inciting incidents or unexpected events that set your captain on their journey that will occupy them throughout the adventure. This also seems like just how to write a story, right? Or some seeds for writing a story. Generate conflicts using these noun verb prompts, or create your own matrix to add variety. Inciting incidents are unexpected events that set your captain on the journey that will occupy them throughout the adventure. Typically, the incident will upset the balance of the captain's world and threaten the accomplishment of their main directives. This is called an incident theme in Captain's Log. Get creative with how you interpret the results. See Chapter 5. See, Lynn says, I can see the utility of this book for randomly generating scenarios that you can flesh out. Right. Oh, yeah, we got to play a game tonight. What are we playing? Well, we could use this book to do that. That to me is different. Well, like I said, some people will love this. Other people will want something more concrete. Let's see. So now I'm supposed to roll on incident and theme matrices. Pair these noun-verb combinations to start imagining the conflict. Then you roll either an advantage or a complication that attaches itself to the incident theme. Is this a better pen than I got? Okay, better pen. So I need to roll on incident and theme. Die. 3, which is command. So IT, incident theme. Command 16, spatial rift. Well, I am dealing with this trying to eliminate a dangerous phenomenon. No, spatial rift. This says command spatial rift. So my incident theme is command spatial rift. So in this case, they rolled up the theme as save and quarantine zone. So they rolled, okay, so save quarantine zone, save quarantine zone over here. Sable says, do they have genuine oracles like Mythic or Ironsworn? This seems like random tables so far. I don't know. This is very different from what I was expecting, especially before I'd even opened the book. BGD says, solo RPGs, especially the journaling style ones like Captain's Log, demand a lot of creative input from the player, particularly asking germane narrative questions and contributing prompts. Yeah, it sounds like it. So because this example rolled save quarantine zone, they therefore determined the development of this engine might endanger some protective area. I don't like command spatial rift. Can I roll again? That one seems like it is sort of duplicating my eliminate dangerous spatial phenomenon. Then we're going to roll for advantage or disadvantage. I'm going to roll my incident theme again, because maybe we get something that doesn't sound so like it duplicates. 8 is investigate. Okay, investigate. That seems to work. We got to figure out what's going on with this spatial phenomenon. So investigate. Six, gravimetric distortion. Well, that sounds like something that would start this off. Investigate a gravimetric distortion by Vulcan. And we got this, and it turns out to be some kind of dangerous spatial phenomenon. They go beyond just normal, what does your character do requirements for participation, typical in standard RPGs. I know, that's what I was thinking. Command spatial rift. I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? That's exactly the kind of stuff I was thinking. Bad rift, bad rift. Go back to your dimension and stay there. No starship for dessert. Get out of here. Yeah, like you're supposed to be, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that meant. But investigate gravimetric distortion. Okay, I got that. That sounds better. Then I will roll on advantage or complication. So here are advantages and complications. After rolling the incident theme for the encounter, roll a d20. On an even number, roll again on the advantage matrix. On an odd number, roll in the complications matrix. All right, so even or odd, here we go. 13, so that's odd. Odd number, so I got a complication. All right. 15, overworked crew. Complication is overworked crew. And what does that mean? We also have inept crew member, but overworked crew means the crew is too busy working on a different crisis on the ship and resources are suddenly stretched thin. Sounds like we got an A and B subplot, A plot and B plot. BGT says you can always roll again. You're not just the player, you're also the game master. Okay, so it did nothing wrong there. So that's what we got. We got now it's time to roll. Now it's time to start fleshing out this story. This provides more details regarding the inciting incident that will launch you into your first big conflict for your adventure. However, you can also include details that may not be revealed until later. It's up to you to determine when to trigger certain story elements for maximum narrative effect. Roll on the type of encounter matrix on page 270 and roll again on the subsequent matrix. Okay, so 270. Encounter probability matrix. By now, you should have your mission type, incident theme, and advantage or complication affecting the mission figured out. I do. Now you can use the encounter probability matrix to really make your mission one of a kind. First, roll on the type of encounter matrix below, then roll on the subsequent matrices. You can do this multiple times to make a rich tapestry of details for each mission. So in this case, all right, 20, uninhabited planet. Okay, so I got uninhabited planet. I feel like I need to have an AI game mastering this for me. All right, so uninhabited planet, that's number 20. All right, then roll again. Number 3, abandoned by its original inhabitants. Maybe this is something that spatial phenomenon had already taken out a while back ago. Like, for instance, talking about this particular style, when I was thinking about some type of RPG, like solo RPG for Rabivania, my nephews are not going to sit down and do this. This would not be the right style for that. Okay, so now is the time to add. So once I've done that, so in their case, Sylvan rolls the D20 again and ends up with abandoned places, haunted figures appear and disappear randomly, or haunting figures appear and disappear randomly. This roll really sparks Sylvan's imagination, and they think back to the incident of Save Quarantine Zone. Could it be that the quarantine zone was needed to keep unsuspecting seafarers spacefarers away from the site of the last failed engine test? Is it possible the species who is performing this test again is not allied with the Federation and has ignored all warnings to cease and desist the development of this experimental engine? However, Pioneer is carrying replacement parts, so perhaps the accident happened 100 years ago and the species has made new developments since then. Now the Federation is happy to observe and help, but someone appears, a haunting figure, to warn them that things are not what they seem. Sylvan decides to roll in the yes-no probability matrix to determine if the haunting figure is hostile or not. They think there's a 50-50 chance they are hostile. Sylvan rolls yes. The entity that appears will be hostile to the development of this engine, and they will emanate from the quarantine zone. So that's a lot of creativity being injected into this. Step 5, generate people, places, and things. Now is the time. So I should be thinking a lot more about my notes here that I've come up with and what exactly this means. Sit down and create and weave all of these into a story. Step 5, now is the time to add other elements that might better envision the story. Non-player characters can help create the conflict of the game. There might be allies or adversaries generated in Appendix 2. Appendix 3 helps you envision strange new worlds, intriguing locations, and a variety of ships and stations that will help set the scene for your adventure. Some of the NPCs or locations you might roll up might not appear in Act 1. They could appear later in your adventure. However, you will have them ready to go and you can introduce them when appropriate. Finally, Appendix 4 has an assortment of random probability matrices that you can add more drama to your story, help provide more details or scenes, and create interesting subplots. So just generate new characters. So what was this? This page over here. What page was I on? 270. So type of encounter. So we did type of encounter. Momentum and threat spins. Oh yeah, we had something about momentum and threat. We were learning how to get that. We don't know what to do with it yet. Appendix 3, allies and adversaries, your friends and enemies, non-player character archetype, non-player character's upbringing, environment, cultural traits, goals, tactics, non-player's federation outlook, beasts of the galaxy creation, body structure, symmetry, incorporeal life, exotic-based life. Okay, so I could use this to create a bunch of NPCs if I wanted to. I want to interact with, well, I don't know, someone, so I could use this to create that. Locations and starships, strange new worlds, locations, ships, and stations. Okay, so then I would write the main mission. So then step 6 would be write your opening captain's log. What the main mission and inciting incident well formed, it's time to write the opening captain's log. An example of how to do so is on page 234. Excuse me. How to write a captain's log. Your captain's log is a summary of where you are currently on your story. Roll up a mission type and use the subsequent tables to envision more details about the starting adventure. Simple template for creating a captain's log. Captain's log, stardate 4218.6. We are currently patrolling, leaving the roll random location. We are currently patrolling or leaving the, and then roll a random location. After completing, insert last mission here. We are now headed to roll random location to insert random mission type here. The crew is eager for some downtime between missions. A random encounter can be inserted here to launch into the mission. Whereas this is our captain's log. So here's a more detailed one. Example, captain's log, stardate 48501.2. We are on a mission to Lerna Beta 5 to explore a rumor that might hold the key to saving the colony on Lerna Beta 2. We're over on Lerna Beta 5, going to Lerna Beta 5 to save the colony of Lerna Beta 2. The colony has recently contracted a strange neuroinhibited virus that has stricken the population with blindness and intense bouts of narcolepsy. An initial Starfleet medical team was sent to provide aid, but was also stricken by the mysterious element. Hence, the colony has been quarantined. Time is running out. Archaeologists stationed on the colony obtained prophetic tomes from a Ferengi trader familiar with this sector and its superstitions. The tomes indicate the solution to be on Lerna Beta 5, a world the Federation declared forbidden based on a treaty signed 150 years ago with the Lernites, a reclusive species that has not been seen in over a century. By the end of Act 1, it's time to write a new log that journals the mission so far. By this time, you have rolled on various probability matrices, experienced challenges, rolled tasks, engaged in social or physical conflict, and learned new and interesting things. The supplementary log can reflect that at the beginning of Act 2. Let's see. BGD says, using AI as the GM assistant rather than GM replacement, rules for arbiter or adventure author is actually the most valid use of the technology that I've heard proposed. Well, it would help also. I mean, just standard things, just rolling like Python or JavaScript's going to roll on these tables for you. So the tables are loaded in, and that's kind of hard coded. But then if you give like a large language model, eliminate dangerous spatial phenomenon as I investigate gravimetric distortion with an overworked crew. Currently, can it come up with something like this story, some kind of story to give you so that you can just play. So, for example, Sylvan is excited about this mission. They write, Captain's Log, June 1, 2388. Starfleet has ordered us to the Velal system to observe the testing of a new prototype faster-than-light engine. 100 years ago, the non-Federation Velal conducted a test that failed and ended up inundating their system with chronoton particles that prevent warp travel. This area has been determined a no-fly zone by Starfleet, but a new problem has popped up. The Velal have learned that the chronoton particle waves are still traveling through their star system. They will impact and destabilize the rest of the system in 10 years' time. The main colony on Velal 5 boasts a population of 800,000 people who will have no means of evacuation unless the anti-chronoton engine is successful. This would lead to a rapid production of a new fleet of faster-than-light engines to aid in the mass evacuation. However, recent incidents have led us to believe the Velal efforts are being sabotaged. Exactly who or what is behind a recent set of deaths in the prototype ship engine room is the mystery, so our mission is to observe has suddenly turned into a forensic examination. And then you start playing. With your mission directive, setting, and inciting incident firm in mind, it's time for your opening scene. Follow the instructions in Chapter 6 for how to generate your narration and use your imagination and the probability matrices to launch your adventure. So, for example, Sylvan decides to launch the opening scene in the captain's ready room aboard the USS Pioneer, where Captain Jalel will meet the Velal representative named Jal. Sylvan realizes they had not yet chosen the space frame yet, so they roll in the random space frame, the next generation era metrics of 144. It comes up as an Intrepid class. Jalal walks into the ready room and begins to implore the captain to lend Starfleet's expertise to their efforts, beginning with investigating why their engineers keep dying when they try to test the engine.